Welcome to the Tiffany Micah podcast. What we do here is build the strength and courage in you to accomplish your big dreams and goals in your sport. No longer will you feel limited. You won't feel you're not good enough. You won't question whether you will make it. Those doubts will disappear because you will have the competitive edge over your opponents and leave them in your wake. And the bonus is others will notice. Listen up and take notes because I will show you exactly how to do it. Hey there, this is Tiff from the Tiffany Micah podcast and welcome to today's episode. Well, everything feels like it's at a standstill right now, doesn't it? And none of us are really sure what to do. None of us, it's an incredible time. It's something that, especially my generation and younger, like yourself, hasn't been through before. And What can you say? What can you say? It's a very challenging time for us in every which way because we don't really know when it's going to end. There's so much uncertainty. So the thing that I want you to really understand is that the most important thing that we must do right now, is stay safe and just follow what's recommended. Don't go, I'll just do what I do. I mean, like most of, as you know, I still teach golf. Well, I'm not teaching it at the moment because, it's very difficult to teach someone, especially in the early stages of their development, it's hands-on, right? And the best thing that we can do right now is not have that interaction with people. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. And as we can see, what's going on in the world, a lot of businesses, a lot of schools, gyms, everything's starting to get shut down and we don't know for how long. We don't know what the time frame is going to be. Sporting competitions are on hold. And the thing that I really want you to get today and to keep in your mind that it can be so easy to get caught up in the hysteria, what the media updates are telling you and things that are going on with the lockdowns. And what comes up is fear, right? Because a big fear, and it's the fear of the unknown because we don't know when it's going to end. We don't know what's happening. All we're being told is, well, this is what you've got to do right now. Make sure obviously very hygienic. Make sure you don't get too close to anyone. You've got at least 1.5 meters distance. As much as possible, stay at home, right? Don't go out. But for how long, right? And we don't have that, like when you're working towards a goal, you have that deadline that you're working towards, right? And you're like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to work towards. But right now, because we don't know, right? We just don't know. Then there's a lot of fear there and it's that fear of the unknown. And I spoke about that fear of the unknown and how that can really paralyze us because we get caught up in the fear. And there was an episode I did a while ago, what paralyzes us. If you haven't yet heard it, have a listen to that because that really talks about how to deal with that fear of the unknown. Because we don't know what's going to happen. And because we don't know what's going to happen, what can happen, especially when we go into a fear and we start thinking, from a fear base or like a fear mental base, then we start creating stories in our head of all these different scenarios. And we can get really worked up. But you got to understand this. You're creating stories in your head, right? Different scenarios. Well, they're only stories that you've created. They're not true. right? So whatever stories you've got going on in your mind right now that you've created, they're not necessarily going to be true, are they? Because those specific things that you're thinking about hasn't happened. And it was really interesting because the other day when I was driving to the golf club, a particular golf club where I was working, I'm not working there at the moment because of what's going on. But when I was driving up there, I started to feel unsure myself. And I noticed I was getting a bit caught up in everything because I'm listening to the news every day. I'm listening to talkback radio every day. I'm jumping on the websites and having a look for information on, updates and so on. And I noticed I was starting to get caught up in everything that the media is producing, the decisions that the politicians are making, and unsure whether I'll be working or teaching. Unsure whether my husband's work will continue and what will happen with him and so on. Well, it turns out, and I had these thoughts at the beginning of the week, well, it turns out that I'm not teaching now. So, when I was driving to the golf club the other day, those were the thoughts. And I stopped. Not driving. I kept driving. But I stopped. And I stopped those thoughts. And I said, Tiff, you know what? You're getting too caught up in this because you get anxiety around what's going on. There's a lot of fear that's going on because you don't know what's going to happen. And I thought, you know what, Tiff, just go back to the normal thoughts that you have and just go back and focus on what you can control. And I kept saying to myself, Tiff, you know better because you teach mindset strategy. So, practice what you preach. So you can see everybody's getting caught up in what's going on. So when I was driving, what I did was I played this manifesto that I created. And the manifesto that I created, it was what I wanted to create for my life. And I actually recorded that last year. I have a vision of my future and the future that I want for everything that I do. And so what I did was I wrote it out and then I recorded it. So I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to play my manifesto and I'm going to just reconnect with my vision. And think about what my future is and what I want to do with my life, what I want to do with my business, how I want to think and how I want to operate. Because I noticed, there's that little bit of uncertainty was starting to creep in. There's that bit of anxiety starting to creep in. There's that bit of fear because we don't know what's going to happen. There's the fear of lack of income as well, because that's a reality too. A lot of countries and so on are being shut down in business. Therefore, there's, people are losing income as well. Yeah, I'm one of them. And so I thought, well, the only thing that I can control right now is what I'm thinking, right? And so what I thought, well, just go back to your manifesto, Tiff, listen to your manifesto. And I actually continued to drive, and it takes me about 45 minutes to get to where one of the golf clubs that I work at. And I thought, well, you know what, Tiff, you need to actually listen to this twice, and this is the perfect opportunity to do that. So guess what? I listened to it twice, and it was just to get me to reconnect with my vision, reconnect with the direction that I want to go, because I know that I don't have control over what's going on. I have to roll with the punches right now. No, I can't fight back the punches, but I can protect myself, right? I can get my hands up. If you're a boxer, you get your boxing gloves up in front of your face and protect yourself and roll with the punch that comes through. Don't let it just hit you and knock you out. So what we have to do here is we have to do something that we can control. And that's what I want to share with you today. What I want you to do today is I want you to create your manifesto. Because, like I said, you can't control what's happening out in the world right now, but you can control your thoughts and you can control how you want to show up in the world. And we're all living in a time where we just don't know what to do. We're unsure how long our lives are going to be unsettled. We're unsure if this is the way it's going to be for some time. We just don't know. So this is why it is so important for you to take back control of your thoughts, for you to take control back over the mental side of how you operate, because it's how you operate mentally is going to be the key for you and how you're going to be able to work through this. You know, I was listening to Sky News here in Australia last night, and there was politicians on, and they were talking about, oh, you know, like we have lockdowns, you know, there's all these problems are going to happen, right? And of course, there is concern. You know, my biggest concern is people losing their income and their livelihood, that they're going to commit suicide. That's what worries me. That really concerns me, because they will feel that there's no other option. And that's why we need to make sure we take control of what we're thinking, okay? Because what we think is going to create how we feel. So we need to do that. So we want to attack this in a positive frame. Yeah, we've got to still roll with the punches of what's going on in the outside world. But you know what? In your domain, where you live, you can take control and you can fight back. Okay, you can do this. So let's do something right now. Let's do something and craft the future that you want to see for yourself, because you can manifest what you want. So here are some suggestions on what you can do to craft your vision, okay, to craft your future. So what I want you to do is I want you to write it out first, okay? And then you're going to record it. So here are some areas that you can look at. You may want to look at some other areas in your life as well. I'm just going to give you some suggestions here, but I want you to write it out, record it, okay? And then you can listen to it. So here's one, number one, your sport. Because this is what I talk about, isn't it? Sport, right? Sport's on hold at the moment. Nothing's stopping you from training though, okay? There's ways to be creative. So with your sport, what I want you to do, and I want you to write it down in detail, I want you to write how you see yourself as an athlete, like your ultimate vision. We've got to create ultimate visions of what you see, because if you can write down, firstly, this is going to be very therapeutic for you. If you can write down what you see yourself being and how you see yourself operating as a sports person, that will give you some hope. Because when you go outside, especially at the moment of what we're going through with the coronavirus, we feel like there's no hope, because we don't know when the end is in sight. So let's create hope for ourselves, okay? So create your ultimate vision of how you see yourself operating as a sports person. Are you playing professionally? What team are you playing with if you're playing as, you know, in a team sport? How do you see yourself as an individual sports person? Competing around the world, you're on tour. What kind of money are you generating? What kind of endorsements do you have? You know, who's sponsoring you? Who are the top companies that sponsor you in your sport? Right? Write it out in detail, because it gives you hope, okay? Number two, your business. Now, I've spoken about this before, but you have to consider yourself as a business. So even though that you're an athlete working towards creating and competing as an athlete and creating your future as an athlete, I want you to still be thinking that you are a business, right? You're a personal brand. So what I want you to do here for your business, number two, is I want you to write down what you see yourself as being as a business person, as a personal brand. How you can write down how many fans you've got on Instagram, or whatever the big thing is for the moment, TikTok or whatever it is, right? You can write down what kind of business that you're running as yourself, the endorsements that you're getting. You can write down if you're wanting to donate to charity or do charity work or create a foundation. Put all of that in there. You want to see the vision, right? Put the vision in your head, write it out. Number 3, your life. What do you see? Your ultimate vision for your life. Where are you living? What are you doing? Who are you with? You can include your sport and your business in there. Are you married? Do you have children? Right, your ultimate life, right? Are you living in Hawaii overlooking, the beach, that you get somewhere between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius every single day? Beautiful weather. Right, write down in detail what you see. What kind of house are you living in? What kind of cars do you own? What kind of activities are you doing? Be really specific here. Okay, we want to manifest it. Number 4, your relationships. What's your perfect relationship? What's going on in your perfect relationship? A relationship not only with a significant other, but also, do you have children in this perfect, ideal relationship of your future? What kind of relationship would you have if you had children? What kind of relationship do you have with your parents? What kind of relationship do you have with your teammates? That you're playing, world-class, you're a world-class athlete playing in a world-class team with world-class teammates. What kind of relationship do you want to have with them? What kind of relationship do you want to have with just, the friends that you really care about in your life? Who are the people that you'd like to meet and develop relationships with? I don't mean love affairs or anything like that. I'm just talking about building, steady relationships that can help expand your network as well. Number 5, your health and fitness. Now, in this time right now, health and fitness is incredibly important, isn't it? We've got to look after our health. We've got to look after our fitness. But I want you to write down how you see yourself, your ultimate fitness and ultimate health vision that you see for yourself. How do you look? Are you muscular? Are you wearing those really cool clothes that you've always wanted to wear? Are you training like a machine, and you're unstoppable like the Terminator? Be really specific of how you actually see yourself operating from a fitness and health level as well. So what you want to do here is craft that vision. See how we section things off, and I've made it quite simple for you, just with 5 areas to work on, and you can be as specific as you like. But I want you to write down how you see yourself in each section of your life. And then once you've written it down, like I did, I want you to record it. I want you to record it because you're better off listening to it, obviously, with your own voice. And it's good to listen to anyway while you're doing something else. But I want you to record it, and then I want you to put some nice background music in behind it and listen to it every day, especially at the moment. And if you can't put music behind it, don't worry about it. Just record it. And what I love about having that manifesto is that I can listen to it whenever I like to, and I don't have to stop and read everything that I've written out, because that takes time, right? And we always complain about being time poor. Well, if you record it, you can go and do something else, just like what you're doing with me. You're listening to me, but you're probably doing something else at the same time. You can do that with your manifesto. You can go and do whatever you do, a training session or whatever, make your bed, whatever it is that you do when you're listening to your manifesto. It gives you an opportunity to keep filtering feeding into your mind that vision that you see for your future. And the other reason that this is really good that you do this is quite powerful for your subconscious as well. Because if you're listening, you don't need to be fully aware, because the subconscious is way more powerful than the conscious mind. So if you've got I think the stats show and what the research show is that 95% of how we operate from a brain point of view is that it operates from a subconscious versus conscious, right? Because of our habits and so forth. So if you're listening, you've got more chance of processing the information that you keep feeding your brain through subconscious level versus through the conscious level. So that you don't have to be totally aware while it's playing. You just need it to be repetitive. You just need to be playing it each day. And another great reason too is that it's going to set you up for a successful day, especially for what's going on right now. But whatever you're going to choose to do throughout the day, and if you play it in the morning, it sets you up mentally for a successful day, because you're like, yep, that's what I'm doing, that's where I'm headed, that's where I'm going. And when you start thinking that way, you start taking actions towards the direction that you want to go in your life versus getting caught up, especially in what's going on right now. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. I want you to take the time to work on this, and I want you to take back control, because you can control what's going on, especially right now, because of you're the one that's in your head. No one else is in your head unless you let other people into your head. So take back the control for you. Write out your manifesto, record it, put some really cool music in the background, and then every single morning from this point forward, then you start listening to it. So that's a better way to start off the day, isn't it? Successful. Start the day successful. Start the day with the ultimate vision that you see for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Now, before you go, I want you to take back control with what you can control. And have you yet signed up for the Successful Athlete Masterclass? So first of all, it's a free training series. And what we do is we discover what's holding you back in your sport. We identify the sport skills, the training skills, and the mental skills that you must be working on. And then we craft out a plan, because we want you to be successful. So even though we are in uncertain times, you can take the control back and work on improving you for your sport, so that when you get back to competition, when you get back to tournaments, you can crush it when you compete. Go to tiffanyMika.com/Sam, SAM, and I look forward to seeing you there. Dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.